first order of business, let's have a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the United States of
United
America
States of America,
and to the republic
to the
for which
republic
it stands,
which it stands,
one
One
nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
liberty
and justice for all.
Thanks for coming, everybody. And as I said, this is probably our third or fourth technology meeting. So as I said before you speak, please just say your name. One of the things I'd like you to do now is for each of you to sign on with your name so Monica can make sure she has an accurate head count as to who is here. So we'll start with Bev, I guess.
Bev Kennedy?
This is Jim Cretella.
This is Paul Wedowitz.
This is John Stoma.
This is Kwame Dunbar.
And I guess Betty Ann is still having audio problems. Rich Demko is not here tonight, and Gary Popolis has not signed on, so I'm assuming he is not here also. And neither is Grace, the other alternate.
I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Then
This is Grace Brangman.
I stand corrected. She is here. Okay. Purpose of the meeting, as we all know, when there was a physical public hearing, we would listen to comments from the taxpayers regarding the upcoming budget. Two comments have been submitted by taxpayers, which I will read into the record. So we'll have it on the recording, and I have sent Monica hard copies so that those comments can also be included with the minutes when she files them with the town clerk. So the first comment I have is statement of Frederick D. Stanek to be submitted to the Board of Finance during its public hearing on the 2021 proposed budget for the town of Seymour. We are living during unprecedented time as a result of the COVID-19 health crisis. Needless to say, the crisis is bearing down heavily on many individuals and families who have lost their jobs or who are living on reduced levels of income due to the need for all of us together to protect ourselves. As most of you know, I am a member of the Seymour Board of Education. In January of this year, I voted against the proposed Board of Education budget for the 2021 fiscal year because the board asked for an increase of 3.58% over its 2019-2020 budget. I commented to the Board of Education that I thought the request increase was too high. I understand that you have reduced the increase requested by the Board of Education from 3.5% to a 1.5% increase. Now that the COVID-19 crisis has affected us, I would like to urge you to reduce spending in other departments rather than attempting to reduce the mill rate by only 0.10 mill without reducing expenses. The town of Seymour should impose a spending freeze to eliminate the purchase of new vehicles, curtail capital projects, and not fill open positions. The current crisis should dictate that the Board of Finance needs to substantially reduce spending during the next fiscal year and accordingly the tax burden on the people of the town of Seymour. I therefore respectfully request that the Board of Finance deliberate further regarding the proposed budget to reduce the mill rate well below 36 mills. Thank you for your consideration of my comments. Respectfully submitted, Frederick D. Stanek, 22 North Benham Road, Seymour, Connecticut, 06483. Okay, that is the first public comment we have. The next public comment is from Steve Mercurio, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, but I will read that now. And this is comment came via an email to Rory, the administrative assistant, who forwarded it directly to me. Hi, Rory. Please confirm receipt and see that this note be forwarded to the first selectman prior to tonight's budget hearing. This is Steve Mercuricio from 7 Hidden Meadow Road, Seymour. I have a few questions that I would like addressed during the budget hearing meeting tonight. 1, COVID-related expense savings and how they will be shown and accredited back to taxpayers, and what this process and steps will look like, ? Specifically, transportation is a huge line item, and in parens, I see over 2.2 mil, close parens, that is part of the education budget, and all bus transportation and associated costs, payroll, gas, repairs, insurance, etc., from March dash in parens at least August, undetermined, should be accredited back to taxpayers in the 2020 tax year. Even if there is a contract, a force majeure legal action, parens and well spent, close parens, should be taken to cancel/renegotiate. Additionally, all sports-related transportation as well. Any sports-related maintenance of fields, such as baseball field, daily raking, line painting, etc. School cost supplies, repairs, maintenance, electric, an abbreviation for electrical, it's elect, consumables, etc. Besides keeping the lights on and normal upkeep, there has to be substantial costs that have been saved from a shutdown. What other areas have potentially saved on costs? There should be a report issued on this related to last year's budget line items. Number 2, non-COVID savings. We had the least snow and ice on record, demonstrated by only a couple storms and only a couple school closings. What was the surplus on this savings, and how will it be applied to the 2020 budget? Regards, Steve. Those are the 2 public comments and only public comments that have been received on this budget. Any discussion? Any thoughts? The first selectman who was on, apparently had a discussion with the second individual under public comment. Is there anything that you can enlighten us on, Kurt, as far as the board goes?
Yeah, he had called in early this afternoon, and I didn't realize he had sent the email as well. But a good conversation. He just had a lot of questions about essentially how we're operating, the potential for savings, what we might do with the savings, particularly with the snow plowing. I explained to them how we generally budget with the understanding that there's a chance we might spend more. We talked about how money's encumbered, it's rolled over, different things like that. So I think he got most of the answers that he was looking for, with the exception of a few questions to the Board of Ed, which I tried to explain to him the best that I could, but I explained the process to him. He's going to reach out to the chairman,
Okay.
and then make public comment at their next meeting. I explained to him that he can ask questions, but that the board can't respond. But if he asks the questions, they'll do their best to get all the information to him. So a good conversation. I think he got most of the answers that he was looking for, but he did ask that his comments be read so they go into the record.
Okay, thank you. As I said, I think we as a board, in keeping the mill rate the way it is for the 5th year, especially in light of what we're dealing with on the outside world and with what the taxpayers in general in this town are having to deal with. In terms of the commentary on a significant decrease below 36 mils, I don't know how that can be reasonably accomplished without hurting services. in terms of what the town is provided by in the way of things like sanitation, police protection, fire protection, public works, garbage pickup, all of those areas. Does anyone have any commentary at all on any of this?
Bill?
Yep.
Paul Edwards? Bill?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Paul.
Paul Edwards. It's a shame that we only got 2 comments. I really wish we got a lot more, and I realize things are changing. I remember back in the days, a long time ago, we used to get quite a lot. But I understand that's the way things are going these days. The 2, I really think we had to consider cutting. I made a proposal a couple of meetings ago. I just think we had to consider cutting.
In what?
I suggested 0.5% from the Board of Ed, 1 police vehicle, $50,000 from trees, and not fund the floating position at Town Hall.
Well,
That was
I think in a couple of issues, I believe there are no cars budgeted in this year's police budget. Because those were taken out during our deliberations. So I think
Okay.
that's a moot point, and each car is expensive, and I forget how many they originally asked for, but we did eliminate those right off at the bat. I think if you get into the areas of education and such as that, what you don't want to do is worry about class sizes and all of that goes with it. I mean, I think at least the experiences we've had, that they've done a decent enough job in watching their dollars, and anything that's not spent is going to fall back to the bottom line. The position may not be filled that you're referencing if that happens, because I know there'll be a spending freeze anyway at the start of this budget. If that doesn't happen, that falls down to the bottom line anyway. But again, given what we have for personnel in the town hall, we're a person to get sick because the offices essentially operate on a skeleton crew as it is, I believe. If one person gets sick or can't work or is not there, that leaves one person stuck to do the entire function of whatever the department is, and there are quite a few in there. And I think that can also present as big a problem, which no one wants. I mean, I think we, as I said, the overall budget is 1.2% as an increase with a mill rate that's held steady. And again, because of the virus, I have to believe there are going to be applicants to pay their taxes over quarters as opposed to July and January. And there are other things that, the town will have to adjust to. But I think we're in shape that, we can weather this storm without any undue burden on the taxpayers. Because
Right.
the unfortunate side of cutting is there goes services. And if that happens, then whether it's kids or it's trash pickup or it's something else, the effect on that is not good either.
Bill, it's Kurt, if I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to kind of build off that question, we had, because of everything with the COVID situation going on, we haven't gone out to bond as of yet. And because we went outside the 60 days of our last rating, S&P wanted to do just a touch base with us, just to get an idea as to how we were faring, what our plans were for fiscal year 21. And incredibly, one of the things that they were least happy with was the fact that we kept the mill rate level.
They expected an increase?
That they expected an increase
Wow.
because what their concern is, and this kind of goes to both Paul and Fred's point, is they would rather that everything wasn't cut now, that it was kept in the budget, or that there was a bit of a, I guess, a buffer, for lack of a better term. Not that they were saying put a buffer in, but that way, if there are issues with revenue, then you have places to cut. Their concern is that, you know, you make all these cuts now, you bring the mill rate down, there's still a decrease in revenue. And now, instead of cutting, you know, some capital things like a public works truck, a police car, things like that, now we're actually into services and things. So kind of they were thinking a little bit differently than we all were, because I tried to pass on, you know, the thoughts of your board, that they were trying to give the residents a bit of a break. They wanted to keep the mill rate level, to show some support and solidarity to the residents, but it was just a different way of looking at things. So I'd have some concerns about their reaction to cutting it too low. Now, obviously, we're not going to base all of our decisions just on what S&P thinks or doesn't think, but I just want it to be some food for thought for your conversations, because that meeting just took place today at 2:00.
Wow. Yeah, that's surprising to me. True, if things drop, if things get cut and drop down, and then all of a sudden there's nowhere to go but people. I mean, we all know that the
Right.
biggest bump in this entire budget relates to insurance. We don't really have a choice with it. We've shopped it, farmed it, did our best to get whatever deal or savings, however you want to frame it. But there's by far not a glut of additional personnel. There isn't. And all of this just goes to maintain the status quo. And hopefully, hopefully things do work out with this virus mess we're in. But I think it's to the credit of the town and the people that live in it that we have a financial footing that's allowing us to do what we do, and at the same time impose no additional burden on the taxpayers. Anybody else? Okay, as it stands now, the revenue budget is $58,084,616. The expense budget is the same, $58,084,616, and the mill rate is affixed at 36 mills. We have our meeting 2 weeks from tonight. One of the items on the agenda, because of the change in legislation and the Board of Selectmen's concurrence, we will be voting on the approval of this budget for 2021. Anyone else have any comments? Anything at all? Okay. Well, if no one has any comments, then I'll take a motion to adjourn the hearing.
Motion. Kwame Dunbar.
Kwame, second, please.
So
Second,
moved, Paul
John.
Edward.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Please say your name for the voting, please. I'm sorry.
Aye, John.
Hi, Beverly.
Paul Edwards. Yes.
Aye, Jim Cortella.
Okay. Anyone voting no? Chair votes aye. Hearing's adjourned, and we'll see everybody on the 26th. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye,
thank you.
everybody. Stay safe.
Take care.